So this video is going to be about fixing a lawnmower, specifically the moon key, as it's called. The other thing that it might be called is just a key, a flywheel key is another name for it. And the reason that this is what they are. Okay, it's just a square piece of metal, and it goes into a slot that connects the flywheel to the shaft of the actual mower blade. So it is designed to be a softer metal than your shaft. In that case, if you hit something like a rock or a brick or a tree stump with your lawnmower, instead of it breaking your engine, this metal is designed to be softer and shear, so that the flywheel and all of the engine bits get separated, and you don't damage your engine or your shaft. So the first thing you need to do is take all of these top bits off, which takes some doing, and every mower is a little bit different. So get out your toolbox. You're going to need screwdrivers, ratchet wrenches, all kinds of stuff. This is a Husqvarna that I picked up from my friend because he didn't want to fix it. He didn't know how. I even tried to help him do it, and it took some searching to figure out about this little issue that sometimes mowers have. He lent it out to somebody, and they brought it back and had no idea how it broke. Well, I can tell you how it broke. You ran over something big, and you knew that you broke it, and now it's in this case where it won't run. The symptoms for this, the reason that we came to this conclusion are when you pull the pull string to start it, it makes a loud clattering sound in the engine, and we'll probably see where that's coming from. And then it rips the pull string back into the engine and almost tears your arm off. It's kind of scary. So that is the symptom, a telltale sign that you have a broken moon key or flywheel key. The reason these are called moon keys sometimes is that traditionally, sometimes, let's see if we can get a good focus on it, it's not a square. Sometimes it's half rounded on one side and it looks like a moon. So that's why they call it a moon key. So I didn't know the exact size this one needs. Again, it's all buttoned up. I don't know what it is, so I just bought all three of these. Different sizes that they had available at Lowe's. Most hardware stores will have these. It's going to be in the random, like, hard to find parts drawers and stuff, but they'll be there. And you know, if I don't need, I'll use the one that I need, and the other two I'll just take back. They're only about $4 a piece, so it's not going to break the bank to do this. And definitely worth doing yourself. It's fairly easy to do, so you don't have to take it into a shop and have your engine fixed. Some rudimentary basic tools, and you can do this yourself. So I'm going to tear this apart and get to the bit where we're going to put these in. We'll do a little analysis at that point, and then we'll do the fix. So again, all lawnmowers are different, so it's not worth me showing you how to take apart this specific mower. But know that if you have a mower, you have to get all of this stuff off and get to the bits that I'm about to show you. So I'll be back in a second after that. So once you get to this point, you're pretty much in business. You got all of the proprietary things off of there, like the gas tank and this weird shrouding that they like to put on lawnmowers these days because it makes them more aerodynamic, and that's important when you're using a push lawnmower. So now that we got that off, we're at this point where we need to get this piece off. What most lawnmowers look like, if you're as old as I am, you remember from your childhood. This is a lawnmower. All that extra stuff on there is just extra stuff. Okay, this one again is a Husky, and it's pretty old. So you're gonna get the bolts off of this part, and some things you want to pay attention to are like this oil fill tube right here. We can see where it goes in down there. It's kind of crusty and dirty. If you don't have to pull it out, don't pull it out. If you do have to pull it out, be advised, you know, that dirt is not supposed to be in the oily parts. It's not good for the engine. It's going to be like sandpaper, gritty dirt if it gets in there. You don't want that. So if you have to take that tube out, clean around it as best as you can, and then when you pull it out, put a nice clean paper towel in that hole, and be cautious that you're not putting big bits of dirt inside. Your lawnmower might handle it if you get a piece or two in there. Don't throw your lawnmower in the trash. If a piece of dirt falls in, it'll still probably work, but you want to minimize that because it's not the best thing for it. Okay, so I got most of this off, so I'm going to keep working on it. Pretty much have all the fasteners off. I'm going to turn this tube out of the way and see if I can't pull this bit off without having to remove that tube. And then when I get back to a relevant part, I will chime back in and show you guys that. So here we go. So unfortunately I had to pull it out because there was a little knobby do that went in this hole and was not going to let me take that off. So it's pretty crusty. Let's examine that for posterity, for the sake of posterity. It is dirty. Dirty bits came off. I think there's some on that oil dipstick. When you pull it off, make sure that you clean it real good before you put it back in there, and make sure that nothing big falls in the hole. So I'm going to get a paper towel and stuff it in the hole. I'm going to clean around it as best as I can, maybe blow it off with an air hose to get all that bad stuff off, because I don't want that inside the engine. It's not good. How you get this off? You just pull it. You wiggle it and pull it, and it pops right out. Alright, so back to the pausing. So the word for this little paper towel shoved in the hole to make sure that things don't get in there is FME. That's Foxtrot, Michael, Echo. Okay? That means foreign material exclusion. So we are keeping out any foreign materials from that area. That is the idea behind this FME. You're not going to shove the paper towel completely inside there where you can't get it, but it's just going to sit here and protect this hole from any dirt. If you have a professional one, that would be even better. A little red plug that goes in there, or a cork might work. But this is a good idea, not just for doing this particular thing, but for any cleanliness control issue that you might have working on any of your vehicles or mechanical things. An FME is always a good choice when you want to exclude foreign material. So here we are at the meat and tatties part of it, the meat and potatoes, if you will. What you're looking at here, okay, this is the flywheel. This bit is the part that ratchets on the pull start up here. So that's the little gear that it catches in to turn the whole engine. Okay, this is the magneto that gives you the electric part. When it passes this magnet, it creates the spark that gets your spark plug going. This little part that's giving us a struggle is the brake. And that is operated by the dead man lever. And so the dead man lever, its purpose is that if you run over your foot or you fall over and then the lawnmower is coming to kill you because you let go of it, it puts the brake on the engine and shuts it off. So this is going to be an issue in getting this off. We're going to leave it on initially to break off this nut that's in here. And I don't know how we got some water in there, but we do. That's fine. We're going to break this nut to get these bits off. The flywheel should come off after that. And then the key is between the flywheel on this shaft and the engine. So it's up here underneath this part. So we need to get this off. So I'll be back in a bit with that. So this little nut, this is what we got out. It comes off pretty easily, especially with this brake on here. I used my impact tool, a little butterfly impact wrench that is enough torque to get it off. It didn't take much at all. This one is a 24mm socket, impact socket that I use. So at this point, this little cup comes off, the little driver from that portion, as we said, that's what ratchets on there. And then this is the flywheel. This part is ready to pop off. So this takes a bit of doing, a bit of work, if you will. I'm not getting really good focus on this. But it's okay, so this part has to come off. You're going to want to use a pry bar, okay? And don't pause the video right now and go prying on it. You have to be paying very special attention what's on the outside of here. There are sensitive moving bits and engine block components that you don't want to break. So basically, the way that I've seen it done is you put, that I know how to do it, is that you put a little bit of up force on it, and then you take a ball peen hammer, like this one, or something else that'll do its job, and lightly tap it. And then rotate it, do the same thing. Keep doing the same thing until you get this wheel off. That's the way that I know how to do it. I thought about some other ways to do it, maybe with an air impact hammer. I'm not quite sure how I would get it underneath there and know what I'm shooting into and not break it. Another tip I have, if you're doing this, you want to use some penetrating oil or some lubricant. I like WD-40. Spray it in here because that's where it's going to be moving out of. Another trick you might try is putting a heat gun or blowtorch on the flywheel. They are aluminum, so you don't want to melt the aluminum, but just to heat it up enough to break it free. Those are some things that you can do so you don't risk damaging all your bits out here with a pry bar. So I'm going to work at it and I'll let you know what I had to do to get this flywheel off. Another thing you want to be careful of is on here, on the shaft, there are very delicate threads that you don't want to break. So you might even want to take your nut and put it back on top. I know it's kind of dark. Put it back on top. I've heard also that you can hit on top of here. I might try that with a ball peen hammer while you're prying up on the flywheel. So I'll try that. If that doesn't work, I'll move to the heat. Multiple things. And again, I'll let you know how that works. So real quick, another trick that I learned in my years of playing with lawnmowers. This brake here that shuts off when you let go of the dead man lever, or that engages when you do so, you can defeat it with a little zip tie right there. That's the dead man lever pulled back and I zip tied it. That's a little trick you can do for this job or any other job where you need to defeat that lever. So maybe if you want to tune a carburetor while it's running, be safe about it. Make sure the lawnmower is not going to move on you while it's running. Make sure you're not going to get run over. But you can absolutely do that. This is a little safety feature they added since I was a kid. They've been on lawnmowers, and that's how you defeat it. Just pull it back and zip tie it in place. And then when you're done, make sure you have some way to remove the zip tie. Sometimes if you want to make it loose, you can slide it down the side and keep it on there if you really want to. It's not safe to be mowing the lawn and defeat the safety mechanism. It's not safe to ever defeat safety mechanisms. So, don't operate it with that on there. And still figuring out a way to get this off. So I realized even before I took this off, as I'm working on it, you can see here is a square slot, and I'm gonna be in the way. If I turn this, you can see over here is the other square slot, and there's little shavings of metal that are coming out of there. So this slot here is supposed to be lined up with this slot over here. So this is the definite issue with this lawnmower. It did shear that little moon key. So yeah, that's a definite problem. That's what you're looking for. If you get to this point, to know if that's your issue instead of taking this off and figuring it out. But we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep showing you guys how to do this. So you know how to do it. Okay, so the flywheel is off, and indeed, you can see it here. Again, the light isn't too good. I shut the garage door so we'd get some backlight off of there. But you can see on top right here, This is the piece of moon key that fell out of the flywheel. And to show you guys against some better light, there's the slot that it's supposed to go into, that little square slot on the bottom of your video. That one right there. That is supposed to line up with this slot right here. And inside of there is still a piece of the old moon key that's sheared off. So you got to get that out. I guess it's going to take some doing. I'll probably get a punch on it. But I'm going to pull that out. And then some other things to talk about. Oh, before I forget, when you're taking this all apart, you're going to have all these little random fasteners. Have a bowl, or better yet, one of these magnetic trays. They're pretty cheap. Pick those up to put all your stuff in. So, back to this. The other thing I want to talk about, if you can see, the shaft on here is tapered. It's tapered, so it just sets on there, and it's held in place by the moon key, and it rotates on this little key. So to get it off really doesn't take that much. Just apply a steady upwards pressure and knock down on the shaft with a hammer, and once it vibrates enough, it will come loose and pop up, and then it just comes off with your hands. It's real easy. And then to put it back down, just slide it back on there. Pretty much installation is reverse of removal. Slide it back down in there, and then put your nut back on. Something I may have screwed up, that nut on here that I put back on so that I didn't mushroom this tip, I should have made sure that it was actually screwed onto the threads. I don't think it was, and I think I may have messed up these threads right here. They are very delicate, thin threads, but we'll see how that turns out. If it gets on there tight enough to hold this down and it doesn't come off again on its own, then I fixed it and it works. If it doesn't, I may have to tap this and possibly get a new fastener, and that's not cool. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to install this and slide the key into place and show you guys that if it's of note. So this is the key that I've decided is the correct size that I'm going to use, and this is the one that was in there. And you can see the significant difference in material loss. Again, this comes from hitting something with the lawnmower blade. In the mass of the flywheel spinning shears this metal, and it is designed to do that. It's supposed to do that to protect your engine from the mass of the flywheel. So this is the one that is going to go back in there, and this is the difference. You can see it is shaved off by the engine quite dramatically. As the difference in what it was and what it used to be. So the new key goes back in the hole once you have both of the slots lined up. The key that fits this most closely does not quite fit. It's too long, and because it should be the same length as the depth of this flywheel, and it's a little bit too wide to fit in the slot, and it's definitely too wide to go down into the slot. A profile picture would look more rectangular than square for this particular model of lawnmower. I'm sure that if I went to Husky and bought their specific key, it would fit perfectly. But what I'm going to do is take this with a pair of vice grips to my bench grinder and get it to fit in that hole and be the right size. I'm going to have to cut it shorter, like I said, and I'm going to have to shave down the sides a little bit. So I'm going to shave down the sides first, and then probably cut off the end that I hold with the vice grips to do that. So that's what I'm going to do real quick, and then I'll be back in a second. Okay, so this is the shape that I came up with and decided on. I'm holding it with a pair of vice grips and using that to work it on my grinder. I got it down to the right square to go in there, so that it went in the top of the slot. if I can do this while looking through a viewfinder. It does fit in there, so that's good. We're down to the pliers, so I'm going to take the pliers off of here once it's not so hot and put them on the other side, and then I'm going to grind off this top end where the pliers are holding it so that it's going to be nice and square. So this is what I got. If we could focus. Come on. I don't know. This is what I got right here. This little piece. It is way too hot for me to touch. That's why I'm holding it with the pliers. This is a custom made out of a key piece, a little key for this mower. I don't know if this is the exact one. I'd like to DIY things instead of wait on the mail for them to ship me one of these. I need to mow my lawn tomorrow, so that's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to take this piece and gently set it in there, and then use my punch and tap it down in place to where it belongs. So it does fit in the hole, and we're just going to tap it in there. Now with these tweezers, or with a punch, until it's flush with the top. That's pretty close with all my might. That's pretty close to being in there. That's a good tight fit done on the bench grinder. So don't let people tell you can't do stuff like this. Don't listen to the naysayers. Do what you know is right and what you can do. If you don't have a bench grinder, or a pair of vice grips, get one of both. A vise, which I don't have, and a angle grinder. Two other things you should definitely have. If you don't, you should get one. That's another option. You could put it in your vise. It would be kind of difficult, and you could hit it with your angle grinder to get to this point. To make one of those custom manufactured. This is a custom lawnmower now because I did some custom work. So yeah, I'm gonna punch this down, put that cup back on, put the nut back on here, tighten it down, and it's good. Reassemble all of the top parts, and I will have a working lawnmower. I don't think you guys need to see me operating a lawnmower to prove that this works, but that is all that you need to do to fix your lawnmower if you have a broken moon key. Again, in conclusion here, take all the top bits off till you get to this point. Pry up lightly on the flywheel whilst hitting down on the shaft, and because it is concave, it should pop right off. Get a moon key that fits in the first place if you can. If you can't, you can custom manufacture one out of one that you get at your hardware store. Fit it in the slot, put the flywheel on, line it up with the slot, fit it in, tap it down with a punch, reassemble everything that you took apart, put it back. And that's it. That's the conclusion of this video. I hope you guys found this informative. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my other videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you have an outstanding day. I'm out.